Welcome back to another episode of Inside of Her C-Suite. We've got a very special episode today. We're gonna go inside of a different type of space. We're gonna play tennis with someone who's gonna kick my butt in tennis. She's the MD of Sovereign Trust, Coreen Van der Merwe. Let's hear why she de-stresses this way. Hi, Coreen, how are you?
Good morning, Timothy.
Good
Well,
morning.
and you?
I'm awesome. I'm really excited. Actually, I'm a little nervous because, I heard you're really good with your backhand.
Oh my word. You better be nervous. I'm ready for you. I've been practicing all week.
So you use tennis to de-stress because your position at Sovereign Trust is a high intensity type of position, right?
Yes. No, it is. I have to do my exercise 3 to 4 times a week for at least 45 minutes to an hour because otherwise my husband sends me to the running course.
What are some of the pressures you deal with on a daily basis that exercise helps you deal with?
Well, Timothy, on a daily basis, we deal with clients who are highly demanding, and most of our clients are high net worth and ultra high net worth individuals. So my biggest stress is time management, to find the time to actually sort out all the affairs of our clients and to provide tax advice, to also run the office, because I'm not just MD, I'm also giving advice to our clients.
Now, your Sovereign Trust is a international conglomerate. I mean, it's a big business. You guys have an office in Hong Kong, all throughout the world, Singapore. The office in South Africa, how long has it been around?
It's been around for just over 20 years. The whole group has been around for 30 years. This is actually our 30th birthday this year. But yes, we started a few years after the main group started.
Okay, cool. And you didn't start as MD. You weren't recruited as MD. You started as a consultant.
Yes, correct. I joined Sovereign in 2008 as a sales consultant, and then 2 years after that, I was promoted to managing director.
Got it. Let's go back. You grew up in sort of a small town, in fact, the name of your town is?
Graaff-Reinet.
And
Yes.
tell, where exactly is this?
It's in the Karoo. It's the most beautiful town in the Karoo. Cape Dutch buildings, lots of vineyards. It's a bit dry now, but it's so pretty.
And your offices now are in the waterfront. So coming from this Karoo area to the waterfront is a long journey. Take us through the first step when you left the Karoo. Was that to go to varsity at Stellenbosch?
Yes, so I actually decided when I was about 10 years old that I want to study law. And then during my high school career, I decided, well, Stellenbosch is the place that I want to study.
At 10 years old, you knew what you were going to study?
It's amazing. I don't know where that came from, but I just knew. Yes, so I joined Stellenbosch University and I started out with a straight LLB. After 4 years, I decided I want to do a master's, and I did it in commercial law without knowing at the time that it's actually going to help me a lot in my future career at Sovereign Trust.
You are sort of small, petite. I'm imagining as a 18-year-old girl moving from the Karoo to Stellenbosch. Was it a big leap for you?
I mean, it was a massive leap for me. It's only me and my sister in our family, and I was missing her a lot. I mean, I'm a girl from a small town. My mom and dad was involved in my daily life, and then suddenly I'm in a residence where there's 160 kids who I've never met. So it was quite scary. And then you also go to these classes where, as we used to be 30, 40 children in a class, and now suddenly you 200 to 400 kids in a class. So it was very intimidating.
Wow. And then when you got on the campus, how did you start developing the other side, beyond law, the personal leadership stuff? Did you volunteer for programs? Did you lead in various class activities? How did you?
Yes, I got myself involved in all sorts of activities very early. I think if you come from the Karoo, everyone helps everyone. So they teach you quite a nice supporting culture there. So I got involved with all the committees, initially in the residences itself, and then I also I played tennis quite a bit, so I got myself involved with the tennis committee. Within the law school itself, I didn't really join any committees back then. I just really wanted to focus on the academics at the time. But I was pretty busy after my first year at Stellenbosch, so I realized you actually can't do too much.
Now, when you graduated, your first job, take us back to your first job.
Right, so I did my articles at a medium-sized law firm in Cape Town itself called Harold Gee Attorneys. Okay. And I mean, there they teach you everything from drafting up a summons, how to do litigation. I was involved in lots of taxi accident litigation work, and that was very interesting, and we had some very humorous moments doing the pre-consulting with the taxi drivers and with the witnesses. And then I spent usually within these law firms, you spend 4 to 6 months in each department. So I did a bit of litigation, labor law, which was a real passion for me at the time. I did a bit of conveyancing, I didn't like that at all. And then just some legal drafting as well.
So the leadership bug, when did it bite you?
I don't think it was actually a specific moment. I think it's got a lot to do with your personality. You really inspire people you're leading people by example. So it was never something that I actually thought of. I want to be a leader and I want people to look up to me. I think it just came naturally.
What are some tips you can give young women who want to be in your position?
I think you have to work smart. Everyone thinks it's about working hard or working harder than the person next to you, but everyone only has 24 hours in a day. So it's really about working as smart as you can. Time management is very important. Have a proper diary. It sounds so simple, but write down the things that you need to get through. And when you feel overwhelmed, just start with the most difficult thing that you have to do today and get that off your to-do list. And you will actually feel quite empowered after that, and the rest will just follow so much easier.
Got it. And early part of your career when you felt that there must have been some overwhelming moments when you felt that being a young woman in a leadership position was challenging. How did you deal with that? How did you deal with some of these uncomfortable moments?
I think you just hit the road. I would put on my running shoes and I would go for a run, and it's amazing how that gives you perspective without actually thinking about the things that bother you. But you have to really go sit down and think about what are the things that's making you stress at that particular point in time, and then address it. I think take it by the horns, and sometimes people are scared of discussing uncomfortable topics, but if something is bothering you, rather get it out in the air and deal with it than letting it hang and just build up.
So I'm starting to get nervous because I know we're going to play tennis in a moment. Let's head towards that way. So the advisory work, what makes you guys unique and special?
I think our biggest advantage is the fact that we've got 26 offices around the world. So we give clients choice. If they want to expand their businesses overseas, we won't force them to only set up a Hong Kong company and a Hong Kong trust, for example. If they want a Gibraltar company for whatever reason, we can offer that. If they want to be in Mauritius, we can offer that. So it's really offering them a much wider choice compared to our competitors.
And what are you seeing on the continent? Some of the trends, some of the sort of investor relations, infrastructure type of setup trends on the continent?
Yeah, I think the times where clients just went offshore because they want to hide money and they want to save on taxes, that's long gone and over. People really want to have offices on the ground. They want to give it substance. They go overseas because they either want to have access to a bigger consumer market, or it's because they maybe want to cut on operational costs or labor costs. It might be a reputational issue. It's a lot easier to find an international investor to put money in a Hong Kong company, for example, compared to a South African company. So there are legitimate reasons nowadays for clients to expand and set up structures overseas.
Got it. And in South Africa, is it still a spot where you find it very attractive? And if so, what are some of the other attractive spots across the continent?
I think Mauritius is still a very popular jurisdiction for South Africans just because it is close to home. It's very easy to set up offices, employ staff in Mauritius. But recently the double taxation agreement between South Africa and Hong Kong has been ratified. So we also see that there's a trend in setting up shop in Hong Kong, which is a lot more expensive. But it seems to be working for our clients.
Let's head down. We're getting closer to the tennis court. I'm feeling I'm getting a little bit more nervous.
I can hear it from the laugh.
What's your strength when you play tennis? Is it your serve, your backhand? What's your strength?
No, it's my patience. I'm not a very strong girl, you'll see, but I've got lots of patience. My parents used to say, Coreen, why do you make us suffer next to the tennis courts? We are so nervous when you play because we just never see you hit a winner. And that's actually true. But I'm really, really patient. At the end of the day, I will get you.
So your style is sort of the opposite of Serena. You just keep volleying back and forth until the person crashes.
The complete opposite of Serena.
What lessons do you have What lessons do you have that you can take from tennis to apply to business? Is that the patience dynamic?
It's definitely that. I mean, as a young kid, when I still had lots of time to practice, I would go to a wall at our house or at the school, and for an hour every day, I would just hit the ball. And there's a saying, it's not mine, it's actually Gary Player's: the harder you practice, the luckier you get. And I really believe that.
And what message do you have for young professionals who feel like, I'm struggling to get over that hurdle and get to that sort of senior leadership level? Use your tennis background to inspire these young people.
I think don't lose your patience. If you're really passionate about it, that will come through. I think it's that energy that you show people, and you will be noticed. Just don't give up so quickly. I think the younger generations, they are into instant gratification. They need to be patient. These things, to become successful, you need to give it your all, and it's not always going to be that quick and that easy.
Interesting. But you have to give us one last sort of tactical tip. When you're on the court and you see your opponent, how do you identify weakness?
Well, I actually look at the size of their tennis bag. I mean, that is so silly, but often the size of the tennis bag tells me how good they are. And sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes I'm right.
Sure.
But yeah.
So this idea of being patient through the transaction also is important. Instead of judging early, letting the conversation, letting the relationship unfold naturally.
Yes, exactly. I mean, you can't judge your clients on the way that they dress when they walk into the office. Some of our clients come in with their civvies. They might have a t-shirt on and their pluckies. Other clients come in all suited up. And it doesn't mean that those guys are the more successful clients that we deal with. It really comes down to the whole process. Are they rushing into something? Are they asking the right questions? I mean, it is very important in our industry to understand your tax obligations, your legal obligations when you set up shop internationally. And the clients who start to ask those questions are really the guys who we know are serious about doing things properly.
Good. Well, let's just see how serious I am. This is it. Can we go and get changed quickly?
Yes, let's do that.
Cool. Let's do it. That's Coreen Van der Merwe. She's hitting winners in the corporate space. Join us next week on Inside of Her C-Suite as we check out some of the brightest, sharpest, incredible minds like Coreen all across this continent.